morning. Welcome, everyone. Okay, I can see some people are joining in already. Hello. Hi, everyone. How are you feeling today? How's your week? We'll be starting in a few minutes. So now we were just waiting for more people to come in. Okay, I'm okay, doing well. I'm good too. Good, but a bit tired. Yeah, Sam. It's almost end of the week. Things been pretty busy. Tired, happy, frustrated. Oh, happy morning. Yeah, happy morning. Curious, energetic. Yeah, I can see some of you really excited for the webinar already. Whoa, and Nuri. I can see you do watch the Inside Out too. Satisfied, stressed, and enraged. Wow, seems like there's something going on. Satisfied, sleepy, productive, tired, confident. Wow, you guys are very good at all the vocabulary for emotions. A little bit frustrated, but otherwise good. Feel quite tired sitting in front of the laptop. Oh, I think there's someone cannot hear anything. Maybe you can try to refresh the web page and then you rejoin again the webinar. If you still have any technical issue, you can actually tag the Naluri events. We have actually someone to support for technical issue. Ill a bit. Yeah, I think a lot of people are sick lately. Even I also been coughing quite a lot. So please take care during this season of full of virus. Tired, stressed, and isolated. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just start because I think a lot of people have come in already. Stress. Yeah. So welcome everyone for this webinar. The webinar today is called Through the Looking Glass. So as usual, if you are new to our webinar, here are some housekeeping. So make sure that you are using our supported browsers such as Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and ensure that your internet connection is stable. And you can test your speaker output also, because now I'm talking. If let's say you couldn't hear me, then you probably need some technical support, and you can always refresh your browser and rejoin again. If not, you can actually tag our technical support team, just tag Naluri events. They will be there to help you with your technical difficulties. And throughout the webinar, you can feel free to ask questions, or if let's say we have any polls or any things that you want to share your thoughts, feel free to do that, because I also don't want it to be a boring 1 hour where you just hear me talking for the whole 1 hour. So feel free to do that. And okay, I see a lot of people cannot hear, so our technical support team will be there to help you, okay? And if let's say you have questions directly to me, you can actually take my name, Chervonne. And if you want to remain anonymous, just be sure to tick send private message so that other people cannot see your message. And at the end of the webinar, the slides will be available for download at the right corner of the screen. And yeah, so these are some housekeeping. Just to check one more time, like I know some people cannot hear me. What about people? Anyone can hear me? Can just let me know before I start. Can hear me, right? Okay. So I'll just start, and those who have technical issue, please take our Naluri events. Okay, just a little bit about me. My name is Chervonne. I'm a registered and licensed counselor in Malaysia, working as a mental health coach with Naluri so far. So before that, I was practicing in community center, institution, and also private practice setting. Okay, and before I start, I always like to ask this question: what brings you here today? You don't have to answer me immediately, but you can think about it throughout the webinar. Like, okay, what brings you here today? So that you can be more intentional as you listen to the webinar. And if, let's say, things isn't answer your question, so during the Q&A, feel free to bring it up. I'll be here to answer you. Okay, and these are just an overview of what we'll be talking about today. There are just 3 points: the power of self-reflection, techniques and tools, and common challenges. And I wanted to ask, like, what comes to your mind when you think of self-reflection? I'll look at the chat box now. Yeah, what comes to your mind when you think of self-reflection? Understanding oneself into a deeper level. Wow, sounds like a very proper definition. Calm down, think back. I'm cute. Self-discovery and self-awareness, areas of improvement. Receiving positive criticism, where questioning whether you're doing the right thing, patterns, introspection, what you did today, whether it makes someone angry, getting to know yourself better, looking back at what you did today, see yourself ready for 2035. Yes. Improving yourself. Why am I so popular? Am I better than tomorrow? Wow, you ask a lot of like good question for reflection. Yeah. When I think of self-reflection, actually these are 3 things that I thought of. Spending a long time. Sometimes some people like to do journaling or having some mindfulness session or even meditation. Yeah. And according to American Psychology Association, it actually refers to examination, contemplation, and analysis of one's thoughts, feelings, and action. So actually, most of the things that you guys mentioned are right, are correct. And I know that this definition is quite technical. So I always like to imagine it as how cow actually digest their food through the process called rumination, where they will choose, they will swallow, and then partially digest and recover it, and then it will go back to the mouth and then digest again to make sure that they actually ensure all the nutrients are being absorbed to the body. So self-reflection is like a mental rumination where you will revisit like certain experience or feelings or action back, and to properly slow down and reflect and then digest like what has been going on. So sometimes it takes time, just like how cows they digest their food. And since we've been talking about self-reflection, a lot of you joining in set up for this webinar, right? Why do you think it's important to have self-reflection in our life? You may put in like your thoughts in the chat box and then I'll read out. And here and there, I'll just look at a bit of some other responses previously. Okay, to be a better person, for self-improvement, better understanding ourselves, work on ourselves to be better, checkpoint, appreciation for greater happiness, to stop going down the wrong path, to be better person for myself and people around me, to look back and look forward, to love myself better, to be better, understand our thoughts, improve personal growth, make better decision, better emotional well-being awareness. Wow. Be grateful, self-formation, reshaping, connect to our true purpose in life, celebrate wins and learning from mistakes. Oh, yeah, I think most of you are right. Actually, there are a lot of benefits. And as I went through research, actually, there are a lot of research people have been doing and researching about what's so important about self-reflection. And these are just 4 that I summarize it. First is to increase our emotional intelligence and resilience. I think some of you have actually mentioned it before. We can be more aware of our emotions and get to, when we have a better awareness, we also get to handle our emotion better. And secondly is resilience, because sometimes we do go through tough time in our life. sometimes it can be like some setback, and we learn from or our negative experience. Sometimes can be positive too, and that helps to grow our resilience in life to be able to bounce back in the future when we actually go through maybe a similar situation again. And secondly is to enhance learning and performance. So it actually helps us to not only helpful for our personal life, like some event actually happening. If let's say you are studying as a student, or you are taking a course, or learning things in your career life, actually helps you um to have better learning, because you can always like look back, okay, what do you learn today, like what do you learn from the lecture today, and certain work or assignment that you do, um what are the things has been good, what can be better, and what are the new thing that you would like to try it out. And also help for the better goal alignment and decision making. So if let's say you have certain goal that you're being set, sometimes it takes like self-reflection to reflect and review it. For example, like when you're studying, you always have this dream to be a manager or director one day. And after you started working, right, and you realize that, hey, I realize what director or manager do is not um it's not what you imagine for. You didn't expect certain work tasks to be done, or like certain things that you had to do. So you can think about, okay, do I really want to um, continue moving forwards for this goal, or I want to change a little bit. So it also help with the decision making, where maybe now suddenly you got a promotion opportunity, whether you want to promote, um, get receive the promotion, and also um, get a like higher position for it, or you felt that actually I felt that remaining at where I am now actually helping me to achieve certain goal in my life, like maybe better more time with my family, things like that. So through self-reflection you'll be more able to know like what do you want in life, what's more important in life. And lastly, improve motivation also. Yeah, a lot of time we can be demotivated on things that we don't have a clear goal, or things that we don't want to do. For example, maybe you are doing certain course, or like certain career that you do, or get into certain company because you want to make your parents happy, but it may not be something that you're interested in, and that usually will affect our motivation on things. So it's always good to think back, like what makes me want to set out for certain things, so what makes me want to go for this direction. So with a clearer direction and goal, actually makes you more motivated towards the path that you go. And lastly, for creativity and also problem solving, because self-reflection is not just about, okay, I did a mistake and I need to grow from the mistake. Yeah, that's part of it, but there are more than that. It's more of like we are also being open to understand people, like what's going on, what do I feel, and what actually went through my mind. So if you think of like, for example, last time back then, if we want to communicate with our loved one, but is we both in different country, we probably need to send letter to each other. It's very inconvenient. It can be very frustrating because you really, really want to talk to the person, but maybe you can only like send a letter, writing the letter and post it to them. And then after that, you have to wait for them to write the letter back and post it. And it takes like another few days, or even more than like sometimes it takes months. And with the feeling of frustration, why is it so inconvenient? And people come out with like smartphone, and we can now message people in within a second and get the reply within a second too. So it actually helped with like a lot of problem solving in our life and creativity. And I think back then people never think of like, oh, we can actually have connect with people all around the world without like traveling. So these are all the good benefits about self-reflection. And I thought of an example. Um, have any of you know who is this person? You may put in the chat box. Yes, you're right. It's actually Bill Gates. Yeah, he's a, I think, very, very famous businessman slash software developer. What about the logo? Like this E logo, do you know what it is? I think for younger people may not see it before. Yeah, it's actually Internet Explorer. Like probably it's been a long time since you use it. Yeah, but back then, in early 20s, it's very famous. Like before Chrome actually came out, most people actually use Internet Explorer. And this product, right, actually came from Bill Gates practicing self-reflection. So he actually planned out a 7-day retreat twice a year to have this thing week where he's away from anyone, away from any gadget, just to focus on solving this big issue in life and solving bigger problem. And Internet Explorer is one of the things that come out from this Bill Gates thing week thing. So if you would like to practice it and year end is coming, maybe you can think of whether you can take some break and also have your own thing week to practice like self-reflection and to think about what are some of the bigger problems that has been going on in your life. Yeah. And here goes the self-reflection technique. I think a lot of people came in want to learn online. So I know that it's very important. So how do I do what to do for self-reflection, right? So I came up with this technique. It's called 3H self-reflection compass. It's very easy to remember: head, heart, and hand. So even if you look at your face, your head, your heart, and also your hand, basically you think about your thoughts, your emotion, and your action. And I would like to imagine it as an iceberg. If you ever see an iceberg before, even like the picture, usually people can only see the top of it. And that's all that we know. But actually underneath, you never know like how big this iceberg is. It's just very similar to our experience, our thoughts, our emotions. Yeah. And action is usually something that most people can see. And for thoughts and emotion are more personal and private to us. For example, there's something happen in this situation. You can, as you look back, you can think of, okay, how did I react in the situation? And this is something that people can see also how you behave. And but for emotion, it's something more personal to you. How were you feeling at that time? What are the emotions are going on? Was it intense? Do you notice anything in your body, any body sensation? And where do you feel it? Like whether there's any heart rate increasing? Do you feel hot? Do you feel cold? Do you feel like your muscle being more tense? So these are all the emotion reaction that happening in the body. So you will be able to know like, okay, actually that was what I feel. Oh, actually I was having all this body sensation at that time. So that you'll be more aware. And lastly, you'll be more on the thoughts, like what happened. You can ask the WH question, like what happened, where were you, when did that happen, who were you with, and how did this thing happen. Like maybe you had conflict with someone, like how did this conflict happening, and what was going through your mind as you were feeling this way. Like maybe you were feeling happy or you're feeling frustrated, like what went through your mind as you were feeling that way. So by being aware of your thoughts, emotion, and action, actually you get to know the surface level. But self-reflection is also about going deeper, right? So here comes the underneath the iceberg. How do we go deeper? I just pressed some of the question prompts here. So at the end of it, you can actually download the handout and you can use it for your self-reflection. Yeah, so you can look at it bit by bit for thoughts. Like if you go deeper, whether there's any underlying belief, you can ask yourself like, oh, what makes me feel this way? What does that mean to me personally? To me, like, okay, this happened. I have conflict with a person, and he say, I hate you. What does that mean to you when maybe your loved one say that? And whether there's a repeated patterns, like did you feel or experience something similar in the past? Because this can uncover the repeated patterns. Like you can get to know, oh, is it a one-off thing, or actually been repeatedly happening? Like, oh, when you deal with certain people, you tend to feel more frustrated, irritated than when you talk to another person. So these are good questions for you to think deeper. Like, why do I react certain way? And lastly, it would be the core values and purposeful action. What's important to me in the situation. So you get to know like what matters to you, because we can choose to react to different situation in many ways, but it's important to know like what's more important to you. Yeah, for example, like you had a conflict with a friend, and also so you value a lot to be a caring friend. So you can think about, okay, if let's say next time I have a conflict with my friend again, how do I still behave as a caring friend? For example, like telling the person, okay, I think we are not in a good state now, let's talk back again, but you are still a friend that I care of, like something like that, to make sure that you still respond to a same situation for the to be something like to be someone that who you want to be. Sorry, I keep get distracting by the chat because it seems that a lot of people are facing technical issue. We are really sorry about that. But at the end of the webinar, and you will be receiving the recording of the slides and also my talking also. So really sorry about that. Yeah. And so basically just now it was like how to do, right? But I think it's very hard to imagine it without example. So I came out with a common situation that probably most people actually experienced before. So you can imagine that you've been working on a few projects this month, and your boss give you some unexpected tough feedback that feels discouraging during the meeting. Is that Doraemon? Okay, I'm not sure. Are you referring to the logo? It's not. It's the Naluri. Yeah, something that they came up with. Some quite cute. Okay, but come back like head, heart, and hands, right? So action is always something that we all can see. And so during a meeting, the boss give you a tough feedback. How do you react? I think a lot of people are know how to react to the boss. We usually just know and accept the feedback and respond professionally. But what actually is going on? Like actually you felt discouraged, you felt frustrated, and you felt hurt. Yeah, this was like how you've been feeling. And hard to hide emotion. Yeah, sometimes it's true. It's very hard to hide it because you feel it very strongly and intensely. And if you think about what went through your mind, actually you've been thinking about, I've been working so hard this month. Why isn't that being recognized? Why that person get the recognition? Why not me? Is it my efforts are not good enough? Do I need to work harder? Yeah, and I think some people also write that, yeah, sometimes we may feel down because we put in like full heart to our work. Some people say that practicing to be less emotional. Yeah. Actually our emotions is there's no good and bad thing. They're actually just there to tell us something, to signal us. Just like when we have this like head, heart, and hand, right? um it tells you that you are discouraged, you are frustrated, you are hurt because you've been working so hard for this project. And let's go to the underneath part, and then I will expand it bit by bit. So we go from the thoughts first. What are some of the underlying beliefs? What makes you feel this way? What does that mean to you personally? So when your boss give you this unexpected tough feedback, right? Actually, this is an example, yeah. So you make this person feel unappreciated because you've been working extra hard. Like maybe this person even OT, even been hasn't been sleeping well and don't get enough sleep. Yeah, you sometimes we get demotivated, even thinking like, oh, I feel like I'm useless. Am I good enough for this job? I've been trying so hard, even more than I'm asked for. So this actually mean that, yeah, this boss just not appreciating my efforts. That's why I feel really upset. Yeah, and I can see a lot of people are typing out maybe some relatable experience, like where their workload is too high, no increment, no extra salary, and sometimes boss just look at the result, no effort, and unsure like how to be more motivated when you are so demotivated. Yeah, so let's go deeper a bit more to think about, okay, do you ever experience this before? Did this experience actually trigger some memories that happened in the past? So this is an example that I wrote for this person. Everyone may have different experience. So this is an example, yeah. And so you realize that, oh, this negative feedback, right, actually triggers some memories in the past where it makes you feel like you're inadequate, and it create a fear of failure. This person may, when he was younger, he used to um being on stage to represent the school, to go for different talks, and there are some feedback from the mom, like after the talk, the competition, there's always like negative feedback of like how you should improve, you should be better, but there's no recognition of the efforts being put in. So it actually reminds this person of the inadequacy feeling in the past, where he or she never get to be recognized, never being seen. So this is the deeper level that a lot of people may not be able to see. And yeah, and I can see some of the people also wrote like, yeah, sometimes it triggers some trauma. Like it can be not just one event happening. Like some people may see like, oh, I actually don't know why you react so much. It's just like boss give you a tough feedback, but sometimes it triggers some past experience that's really difficult for us. And yeah, a lot of time, some people may only look at the outcome, but do not care about maybe the efforts behind. And that of course, like we were expecting some disappointment, you will get disappointed because you were so looking forward to show like the hard work, and you did a lot, you feel so hurt, but at the end, that was just the tough feedback. And let's go to another level to think about what's our core value, what's important for us, what would be a more purposeful action. And think about what's important for you in this situation, and what do you truly want or truly need, and how can you respond in a way that aligns with your value. So for this person, right, he or she actually realized that achievement and recognition are very important. It drives a lot of hard work. What he or she wants to be recognized, want to achieve, and want to be validated of all the efforts that he or she put it in. It's not easy to put in the hard work. All this hurt that he or she been feeling, it's just telling him or she that um yeah, actually I've been working so hard, but no one is there to validate me, no one is there to see it. So this person decided to continue work hard, because it's very important for him or she to achieve and do well in the work. But at the same time, he or she know that I can't control my boss. Like my boss gonna be the same forever if let's say he or she usually behave this way. So what he or she can do, what's under our control, would be, why not we learn to validate ourselves? Like if people don't see it, why not we see ourselves? Yeah. And I can see some people wrote that, yeah, feedback may not be accurate. It's true. Like not all the feedback can be accurate. Sometimes we also need to differentiate what are constructive feedback, what are just merely criticism, what are just some sharing from feelings. So it's important for us to be objective before we just judge ourselves, because a lot of time when we do self-reflection, sometimes it's very hard to be open about it, because a lot of time, a lot of like negative thoughts will come in like, oh, I think I'm just useless, I think nothing I can do about it. But if you look deeper, right, we can get to know like what's our needs, what do we want, what's more important for you, and what actually hurts you, which part of you are being hurt. Maybe it's the part of you that you never being validated, you never being seen, but you work so hard for it, even until now that you work in maybe one or the good company a lot of people know of, but still the boss is not seeing it. So we can actually be the one to to validate that, especially if, let's say, it triggers some childhood memories. Maybe the younger you never get validation, and perhaps we can validate the younger us because we have grown up to be an adult. And if it's really, really tough, you can feel free to actually get some support from us, the Naluri app, in the app also, where we have like mental health coach to chat with you, to reflect together, or even like to book a consultation with us. But all this I will share at the end lah, because I want to focus on the self-reflection technique. Yeah. And aside from like the technique just now, it's good to align with our personal preference. Like different people actually have different preference when it comes to self-reflection. Some people actually like to do it digitally. Like they're just like, I hate doing handwriting. So personally for me, I also don't like to write. I prefer to do it digitally because my handwriting is not that great. Or if, let's say, you like to do handwritten self-reflection, you can actually journal using your own journal. Yeah, journaling is actually helpful for people. Some people, like, let's say, they enjoy like handwriting, or sometimes it can be verbal, because some people don't like to write. But when they talk to people, it actually help. Like talk to friends or talk to the trusted people, it actually prompt them to think further, or even give some insight that they never think of. Like as they talk, or even talking with people, it bounce off like some feedback from the friends or the trusted one. So we actually gain some insight from it. And lastly, is for nature or outdoor. Some people like to be surrounded by the nature, and when they are surrounded by nature, they are being more able to be present, be more focused, and to really listen to their inner voice, like what has been going on. Are you okay? Am I okay? Are things okay? Am I the usual self? If, let's say, you realize that you are not like yourself, things have been quite odd for you. Yeah, maybe your feelings is right. Maybe you can go deeper to understand what's been going on, because that really will help you to have a better insight. Yeah, and I see some comments here. Yeah, journaling used to be helpful for some people, but it sounds like it isn't helpful for now. Yeah, maybe you can try out some different way. Is one way better than the other? Talking would allow us to express faster than writing. I would say not. There's no one way better than the other, but it's more depending on preference. Because some people are really better in verbal, like they usually verbalize their thoughts, their mind, what do they think about. But some people are better focused when they journal down and turn whatever thing that they've been thinking and feeling into words. So yeah, depending on preference, and some people suggest like some way to go to nature, like exercising, hiking, cycling, swimming. After sweat will feel refreshed. It's true, because when you go for the outdoor activity, aside from you enjoy the scenery, it can also, when you do exercise, also like came out with all those like happy hormone, will help you to feel happier. And also, as you're happier, usually you are more willing to do certain thing, or more motivated to maybe do your reflection. Yeah, so nature is one of the way. Like maybe during the weekend, you can ask some of the friends to go for like hike together or cycling together. And in Malaysia, there are a lot of places that you can go for, and it's free. Watching movie, yes, sometimes certain movie you can, when you watch, right, you can also reflect more about like how you feel about the movie. Playing game is good for self-care and releasing stress, but may not be that helpful for self-reflection unless you can do multitasking to self-reflect while playing game, which is very hard. Yeah, pamper your inner child. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's talking about like what are some of the needs that the inner child needed. Okay, let me read a few more, because I think you're actually wrote a lot of like nice idea. Okay. Yapping with bestie are the best. Yeah. It's sometimes it's just good to hang out with some of the close friends, and you get to like yap about it, and then you get to talk more and understand more about like, how you feel. Because sometimes when you talk with like your trusted one and with yourself, it's sometimes it's hard to validate yourself, but you when you get to hear from other people, you actually also validate your feeling. Like when you hear them being there for you, there to listen, it actually help you to feel seen too. And yeah, some people say reading, Netflix, went out. Yeah, the point is to went out, not to put it up. Yeah, it's true. Like one of the important thing for us to self reflect is also because it's always easier to brush it aside, our emotion, and then we forget about like what's going on. Or but actually it's there. It's just that waiting for maybe another situation to pop up, because emotion are there just telling you that maybe things are triggering, things actually violate what you've been believing in. So it's always good to be aware of like what's going on how you feel about it. And research also show that by just being aware and label your feeling, for example, the situation just now, like the boss saying some tough feedback and you got a bit discouraged, by just labeling, saying to yourself that I feel discouraged, I feel hurt, I feel frustrated, I feel angry. This actually has already helped you to validate the emotion that you're having, and usually it helps you to feel better also. Yeah. And I think there are some other good suggestion here where you guys can also read about. Yep, to your cat. Oh, that was a very interesting and creative way. You can do that because pet is also people that we are close with. And one fun fact that I found out recently is if you don't have a cat at home, but watching cat videos, actually scientifically proven that it will improve your emotional well-being. So you guys may try it out by watching cat video. Yeah, if let's say you are a cat lover, yes, writing diary and writing help to reduce intrusive thoughts. Yeah, being aware of all your negative thoughts or sometimes positive, it can help you to reduce it, because you will be more able to calm down and to differentiate like what's what's going on. Cat will yell, yeah, back with that attitude. It's true. Like they will be responsive to you a lot of time too. Some people talk about coloring. Yeah, coloring is actually good too. Sometimes as you color, it help you to calm down and focus. Because the key is also, sometimes we just have a lot of things going on in our mind. We cannot bring our focus back to the present. So one another way is coloring. Coloring can also help. Gardening, yes, yeah, connect yourself to the nature. Okay, i I suggest, okay, just I also put in some example. So one of it, for digital one, we have this mood journal in our Naluri app. So for those who are being subsidized by your own company, you will always have the premium access. So this is one of the feature that we came out with lately, where you can just open the app, and then you will be seeing this thing like, oh, how do you feel right now? And then as you click into it, there's a list of emotion vocabulary where you can pick and think about, oh, am I feeling this? And then you can just save it. And one good thing is you can also adjust the sharing permission, whether you want to share with your coach or you want to keep it privately. Yeah, it's completely up to you. And for the public that who have never used Naluri app before, don't worry. If you download the app, it's also free for you. This feature is free for everyone, free for public. So if let's say you are more of digital person, you can use our mood journal in the app. And okay, this slide is just for the fun fact, because as I research, right, I realized something very interesting. People realize when they reflect more about certain emotion, for example, surprise, frustration, failure, and success, it actually promote learning and career growth. I think also particular for these few emotion usually related to our own learning and our own like career pathway. What are the things that you want to advance, and what are the things that you feel is you are not achieving what you want to get. So this few emotion, if you ever experienced it before, yeah, maybe you can reflect more about it. Or even since it's almost year end, right, you can think about, okay, what's one thing that you surprised this year? What's one thing that got you frustrated this year? What's one failure that you experienced this year? And what's one success that you actually gone through in 2024? And that will also guide you to think about the New Year resolution for year 2025, because it's always good to look back first before we move forward. Because when we are not aware about like what's going on, it's very easy for us to repeat the same pattern again and again. So these are just some of the suggestions where you can actually think of. And I would like to ask all of you. So now you have learned about the importance of like doing self-reflection and also some technique. But from a scale of 1 to 5, being most willing, how willing are you to make self-reflection a habit? Okay, let me have a look. I can see a lot of the, okay, a lot of 5 and 4. You are so motivated. Great. Okay, what about, are there anyone are like the 1, 2, or 3? It's true. Yeah, someone said that those rated low were not set up for this call in the first place. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we are just curious, or you have been knowing that it's important for us to do self-reflection. That's why you're here, right? Yeah. And I also want to ask, like, what are some of the common challenges or common barrier that you feel that you may face when you want to do self-reflection? Too occupied with work and on personal life. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes life is so busy. We just have so many things to do. Too lazy. Yeah. It actually takes effort to do self-reflection. It takes effort for the cows to eat also. It's a long process. It takes time for you to chew and digest, and then it digests again. Not having a third space. Yeah, having a personal space sometimes is important for us to be really calm down and be present. Not true to oneself. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes when we are not being honest with ourselves, it's hard to actually to reflect people, because probably there are certain barrier, and it's good to understand like, how come it's so hard to be honest? Is there any fear behind? Not easy to identify emotion accurately and the link between emotion, thoughts, and action. Yeah, actually, it takes practice for us to identify emotions and to understand certain link. So sometimes it's also good to seek some professional help. You can also chat with us in the app, like to understand more. Like, okay, what happened? Certain situation happen, it bothers you, so that our mental health coach in the app can also be there to help you. And aside from that, just by doing the mood journal, it's actually a good practice to help you to better identify emotion. Because like practice make perfect, so you can actually train. It actually takes training to better identify our emotion. Too occupied. I think a lot of people say too occupied, not consistent enough. Motherhood struggle. Yeah, being a mother is very, very busy. The mood for the day affects you. Yeah, sometimes when we are too emotional, it's good to just focus on relaxing and soothing our mood before we think further or do some self-reflection. Too exhausted, hard to find time, hard to be consistent, or it's hard to continuously having the habit of journaling. Yeah, it's true. Cannot sleep well. Yeah, I think all the things that you guys mentioned is true. Sometimes, like we know that something is good. For example, eating healthily, sleep with sufficient time. All these things we know, or eating healthy food. But still, a lot of people sometimes go to eat fast food. Yeah, so knowing and practicing is two different things. So it's actually really good for us to understand what are some of the common challenges that we tend to face, And it can be similar for some people, but also can be like very according to the situation or like the role that you are having now, like whether you are a student just having a lot of assignment, or you are an employee having a lot of work from the boss, or you are actually having multiple roles, like you are a mother, you are a father, you are a grandson or daughter. So a lot of things can be going on. So I actually just list out some of the common barriers and also some suggestion for you to overcome the barriers. So the first one, lack of time. I think a lot of you actually mentioned you guys are just too busy, don't have time. So one way is we schedule a time, and it doesn't have to be very long. I know that like I gave you the example of the Bill Gates thing week. It takes a week, 7 days. You don't have the so much of time. It's okay. You can actually start small by just taking like 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe before you sleep or in the morning when you wake up. Just schedule this time for yourself to think about it. Or even when you're commuting, if let's say you are taking public transport, you can actually do some journaling. If let's say you are driving in the traffic jam, you can actually think about it. Just that you cannot write it down. Yeah, and just remember to drive safely lah, as you drive. So you can actually put it in like time where you are not doing something and without you taking a lot of attention. Start small, like from 5 minutes, 10 minutes to like 15 minutes. Or if let's say you have the luxury to have a longer time, like once a month, you take like a half an hour out. Yeah, so feel free to do so. That's one of it. Secondly is external distraction. I think I think rarely have people are being too free nowadays. Most of us are just so busy. We have like when you wake up and then you open the phone, oh, a lot of Gmail, a lot of message from the boss, a lot of like work tasks, or like your children asking you for need your attention, things like that. So one way is to just set aside a time, or you can go out to a cafe and make sure that you try to with a minimal usage of your gadget, or just totally avoid it, and that will help you to be less distracted. The third one is to cannot see immediate result. I think rarely have people mention it, but actually one is one of the common barriers where sometimes self-reflection is not like a fast food thing where you can immediately know that, oh, I know I'm feeling this way, I have these thoughts, or why I behave this way, what's my core value, it triggered these memories. I gave you the example, it makes it like break it down, but maybe it actually takes time to go deeper and to understand. And you maybe just need to be patient with yourself. Like you can even set up topics to have a topical things to reflect on, and remember to be patient with yourself. You can't see immediate result because self-reflection is like a mental rumination, right? Like just like how cows digest their food. It's not like they eat and then swallow and then it just go out. Actually, it swallow again, digest, and then you go back. Just make sure that you get the sufficient nourishment from your experience too. And number 4, emotional discomfort. I think I read one of the comment where it say that sometimes it's hard to be honest with yourself. And one of the common reason is this: it can be uncomfortable to do self-reflection actually, because sometimes it means that we have to face certain painful emotion, and it's just really uncomfortable to feel it. So sometimes when you're ready, you just need to be more open and courageous to face it. And as we being courageous or being open, sometimes it's good to get support. It's never wrong to get some support from your loved one, or get some support from the professional, and you can actually get more insight from it. Lastly is professionalism, where I think sometimes we want, it's very similar to the can't see immediate results. Sometimes we want to have an immediate result, like you want it perfectly, how you do your journaling, how your diary look like, you want it to be beautiful. But it's okay, like sometimes we don't have to be like always perfect, because this journal, just this self-reflection, right, whatever things that you write or think, you don't have to like share with people. Sometimes it can be just totally private to you, so you don't have to prove to people that you are doing good, you are perfect. Yeah. And let me read some of the comments, because I think it's been pretty happening here. Okay, there's a suggestion about like reading the book title The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Maybe you can read it out. Some people just write tremendously. Yeah, it's true. Some people are just very good at writing. But remember, we are not here for the essay exam. You don't have to compare with anyone. This is just totally your personal experience. And some people actually suggested to do bullet points. Yeah, it's true. If you know of something called bullet journaling, it's actually help. Sometimes we are not everyone like to do essay, but just like doing the bullet points actually helps you to clear up your thoughts and to be more organized also. So it doesn't have to be like super long, like 10 pages. It's totally fine. Okay. I think there's a person don't really get the reflective points. Can start small with what you observed today. Any special thing happened recently? Um, yeah, you can start small by thinking about how you are feeling today, or is there anything bothering you lately? Yeah, so sometimes it's good to have like certain topic that you want to do self-reflection, because self-reflection can be used in many ways. It can be used in learning, like what you've been learning, the course that you've been doing. So feel free to pick the topic that you're interested in to reflect on. Yeah, image your diary. Yep, you can actually do that. Like you can put some image in your diary, or even story, or the story that just private to you. Yeah, that's one way too. Yeah, photo journaling is one thing. Aside from Instagram, there are many other apps also available for photo journaling too. Okay, let me read a bit more comments here. You can just, I read something interesting. You can just comment to ChatGPT, and funnily, they can be quite empathetic. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you can actually talk to ChatGPT. If let's say you want your sentence to be nicer or more beautiful, that's also one way. And usually ChatGPT are being designed to be more empathetic, which I also try. Addicted to phone, how to break? This usually may need some deeper investigation. So if let's say for those of you have like special things that you want to talk more about, you can feel free to go to the app and talk to our mental health coach or me. Then we can talk further about that. Okay, yeah. I think some people are gonna try ChatGPT. Yeah, so feel free to use the technology today. Just like I mentioned earlier, like Internet Explorer, probably a lot of people don't know what is it. And now people use Chrome or even ChatGPT to search things. And just be wisely to use all the technology that you have to aid in your self-reflection habit. And these are just some support and resources for further help if let's say you need it. So we have this free emotional well-being assessment in our app. It just take like about less than 3 minutes. You can get to know more about like how your current mental state, and you can also, yeah, you can feel free to scan to access, because the handout will be available later, and you can just scan it by yourself. And I mentioned it earlier, we have this mood journal thing. You can download the app, and if you do it consistently, you can even see the graph of like usually what are the emotions that you tend to have, or whether you tend to have like more positive or more like negative emotion. And we have this one-on-one Naluri consultation too. If let's say you felt that there are certain questions that the webinar couldn't answer you, or things that you feel that is quite private, you want to talk more, but just too many people here, you can actually book a consultation with us, or you or you can go to the app to check with us. So for those who are subsidized by your company, it's usually free for you. And for public, I think you can actually book through the website. And this is just the QR code for the app and also web. If let's say you don't like to use the phone app, you can also use our website. Yeah, so here we go, the Q&A. Is there any question? Okay, let me read all your comments. So the handout now is available at the right-hand side of the screen. And I also need all your help to fill in the feedback form so that we can hear like what do you think about the webinar today? What are the things that you would like me to improve? And what are the things or topics that you are interested in? You can fill in the feedback form at the left bottom corner of the screen. You can just click the give feedback, then you'll be able to give the feedback form. And before that, later on, I also need you, because next year we actually planning a free physical workshop for the public. So it means gonna be free for anyone. And here are some polls. Yeah, it's a 4 hours workshop. So which day would you prefer to be on? Because we want to have it like a HRDC claimable where you can be tax exempted, and you can still join the workshop for free. So you can just answer the poll on your screen also. Yeah. And if you are using the app or going to try out the Naluri app, you have this lesson, and it's free for public. You don't have to subscribe to the Naluri app, but you still can use all our lesson. You can go to the lesson part, and if you see self-reflection, you click into it. There's a guide teaching you or prompting you to do like reflection for 2024, and also for you to think about like what are some of the new resolution that you want to make for next year. Okay, let me look at all your comments now. I've been really curious. Oh yeah, like you don't have to do it in English. You can ChatGPT talk in any kind of language. Yeah, it's true. Like it's actually we use our heart every day, daily. We actually review people's about like what's our mind and also our heart going on. Someone just joined a small Lego community where he can share collection and experience with the public. Yeah, sometimes it's really good to have a community support. It can be based on interest or even your faith, to have like people that to be there to support you and really share like what's been going on for you in life. May I know what's the workshop including? We are not too sure yet. I think we are still planning it. Yeah, so now we just would like to know roughly like when would you guys to be more prefer, like whether Monday to Friday, which day you prefer, and whether you prefer morning or prefer have it in the afternoon. But for the topics wise, I think we are still in planning, so we are not too sure when will it be. Yeah, and we are open for any suggestion for the workshop topic. You can even put it in the feedback form. And I think earlier on there are two questions that I missed. There's a person asked how to overcome the negativity when you are demotivated and hurt. It's good to actually do the self-reflection, like to understand what's going on, what makes you feel demotivated, what makes you feel hurt, because that will help you to get insight of what's deeper on the deeper level, what's your needs, what do you truly want. Because by knowing all those, it actually help you to be able to navigate life. Like for example, you actually using an example, like you actually need meditation. You actually need to be seen. So by you yourself validating yourself, and also, or sometimes it can be like getting support from friends also, then you will be able to fulfill your needs. And when our needs are being fulfilled, usually we are more motivated towards the direction that we want. And aside from our needs and wants, also like whether the goal that you set is something that you truly want. Yeah, to understand people about like what makes you want to set up this goal, what makes you want to work so hard for certain things. Yeah. And let me check whether I missed any question. Okay, there's a person also asked what to write in journaling for people who don't like to write. Um, I think sometimes there are many ways. One is free writing. You can write anything that came to your mind. Sometimes it can be topical, like okay, maybe you want to reflect about how's my 2034, what's my failure or success, and how would you summarize it in 2035? Like, is there anything that you want to grow? This can be like one topic, or you just want to understand more about lately you've been feeling a lot, but you don't know what's going on. You can think about, okay, since when I started to feel this way, what are the things that makes me feel odd about it? And how was I feeling? Is there anything happened before that? So that you can get to know um, people on like what's going on. Yeah, and hope it helps you. Let me just read and check whether I miss out any question. Okay, some people suggest meditation as topic, expressing ourselves through arts or music. That's very interesting. For art, yeah. Yes, there will be recording for this session. So after we have done downloading our recording, we will be sent to your email actually. Yeah, we will send the recording through the email after the webinar ends. Okay, before we end the webinar, any last question or anything? Insecurities, or you're welcome. Hope you all enjoy the session today. Yeah, and if let's say you are happy and satisfied with the webinar, feel free to comment in our Google reviews or social media. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in your busy schedule. I hope you guys get something from it. Thank you, everyone. You're welcome.